Good morning. I am Laura Feldman, and I use she, her pronouns. And I'd like to welcome you to Bucksmont's Unitarian Universalist Fellowship's multi-platform worship, where, moved by love, we share lifelong journeys of growth, wonder, and healing, nurturing wholeness in society and spirit, creating a community of justice and compassion. I'd like to give a welcome to everyone joining us online and in person today, members, friends, and those who may be newcomers to our community this morning. As we begin our service, please take a moment to silence your cell phones. If you are new to Bucksmont and visiting us in person today, please stop by our Visitors Center in the front hall near where you came in. There you can also make a name tag for yourself, find more information about Unitarian Universalism, Bucksmont's Fellowship, and upcoming events. If you'd like a hymnal or a printed order of service, those are available near the entrance to the sanctuary. If you are visiting us online or prefer digital methods, please email our office administrator, Beverly, to sign up for our email newsletter and to get connected to our congregation. You may also follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Bucksmont UU. Each week in our service, we offer time for people to share a joy or sorrow from their lives by texting a phone number. That number is shared on screen for everyone now. Will be again later in the service and is listed in the order of service. If you would like to see the order of service, details about upcoming services, and other ways to gather with our community, you can find that on the homepage of our website, www.bucksmont.org. There is a lot happening at Bucksmont, and we'd like to highlight these announcements in particular. First, the flowers were donated by Scott Hensel and Heather Burke to celebrate their wedding yesterday. Be a part of Bucksmont's culture of welcome. We are changing how we fill the many roles needed to have Sunday mornings happen each week. As part of the change, we are asking folks to sign up as ushers. Ushers welcome people into our sanctuary, offer orders of service and hymnals, and help collect the offering. Sign up for one Sunday, every Sunday, or something in between. Full details about this way to help our community and sign up information can be found in the social hall with Murray Sickwell and me, Laura Feldman. It is scary to be hungry. The teens in Social Justice Club are organizing a food drive to combat hunger in our community. They will be collecting non-perishable goods at the Trunk or Treat event on October 27th. Please help them stock some shelves at Manna on Main Street's food pantry. Thank you in advance. Introducing a seminar designed for us on Saturday, October 26th. Becoming a culturally responsive and welcoming fellowship. This seminar will give us the tools needed to allow newcomers to feel completely at ease, to want to share their stories willingly, and participate wholeheartedly. This is your opportunity to demonstrate our values: justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interconnectivity, generosity, with love at the center. There is an added benefit. This experience will help us grow in our personal lives as we interact with family, friends, and new acquaintances. Let us not miss this opportunity. It's free. See the e-voice for details. Whether you are a guest, friend, or member, we are glad you are a part of our worship service today.
We begin with some drama. As we gather in our sanctuary, in our homes, or watch from mobile screens almost anywhere, we are all together. Those watching now on Sunday and those who may be watching months from now, we are joined together for worship across both space and time. This is a free, creedless religious congregation in the discipline of truth and the spirit of universal kinship. We join together in a cooperative quest for religious and ethical values, seeking to apply these values to the development of character, enrichment of the spirit, and service to all. You are welcome here, whoever you are, whomever you love, whatever the color of your skin or your country of origin, no matter your gender expression or gender identity, whatever your age, however you define family, wherever you are at this time, and whatever the source of your faith, you are welcome here.
This morning, as we do each time we gather, we kindle our Unitarian Universalist chalice. We do so today with words from Thomas Rhodes. We come in a variety of colors, shapes, and sizes. Some of us grow in bunches. Some of us grow alone. Some of us are cupped inward, and some of us spread ourselves out wide. Some of us are old and dried and tougher than we appear. Some of us are still in bud. Some of us grow low to the ground, and some of us stretch towards the sun. Some of us feels like weeds sometimes. Some of us carry seeds sometimes. Some of us are prickly sometimes. Some of us smell. And all of us are beautiful. What a bouquet of people we are. Please light your chalice at home. Our common chalice is now lit.
Good morning. Sure. So I'm Dina Condra, and I'm your hymn leader this morning. I'm going to be seated during hymns, but I invite you to rise in body or spirit and join in singing our opening hymn, number 299 in the gray hymnal, or Words on the Screen. Make channels for the streams of love where they may broadly run, and love has overflowing streams to fill them everyone. But if at any time we seize such channels to provide, the very fountains of love for us will soon be parched and dried. For we must share if we would keep this gift all else above. We cease to give, we cease to have, such is the law of love.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Everyone can come on up for the Time for All Ages, the young and the young at heart. Welcome, everyone. Good morning. Who would like to open our Wonder Box today? How about Will? You want to open it? Yeah, well, we're going to let somebody else open it today. You got it, Will? Oh, you figured it out. There you go. What's in there? Hold on. Will, what do you see in there? Seeds and an acorn. All different kinds of seeds in there today. Yes, they are. They are corn seeds. Isn't that cool? All right. So there's all different seeds in here today because after we leave, the adults here are going to be left talking about seeds. So what is a seed? Who knows? Penny, go ahead.
It's from a fruit or something else.
It does come from a plant. And what do seeds do?
Grow plants.
They grow plants. Exactly. Yeah, and then plants make more seeds. It's a cycle, right? Very cool. So, what do we do with seeds to get them to turn into plants?
You cover them with dirt and then you just pour water on it and just get some sun rays and then there's your flower. And the seeds grow the plant.
Yes. So Harrison is right. You add dirt and sun and water and they grow. But what happens? Usually you don't need to add rocks to plants, but seeds. But sometimes that might work. Depends on the plant. So do all seeds sprout? I know, it's really exciting. Do sometimes seeds not grow? Has anyone ever planted a seed and nothing's happened? Yeah.
I planted and they didn't grow.
Yeah, sometimes they don't grow. Yes, Penny?
I've heard a story about there's this kingdom and the king gave everyone a seed to grow, but one little boy didn't get the seed to grow.
Ah, okay. So sometimes seeds don't grow. And maybe that's because they didn't get enough water or enough sun or the dirt wasn't the right dirt that they wanted. Things like that happen, right? But when we take good care of a seed and a seed is ready to grow, it's kind of like we're sharing with the world, aren't we? Yeah, we're sharing more flowers, more plants. Yeah, and they grow in the dirt. And so seeds can be a really powerful thing because without them, what would happen? What would happen if we had no seeds? Does anyone know what would happen if we didn't have any seeds? All right. There would be nothing left to grow. Yeah. And would we get delicious apples and pumpkins and pretty flowers and beautiful trees? No. That'd be pretty sad, wouldn't it? Yeah. All right. Well, seeds are pretty cool, and I think today the adults are going to continue to talk about seeds, as are, let me look at all of you as well. So in the Bluey class today, we'll be talking about seeds as well. So let's continue the message. All right. Thank you so much. Let's head downstairs, everyone.
In liberal religion is a vital part of our history of faith. As a covenanted community, people who freely choose to be here, our voluntary giving is symbolic of that freedom of choice. Each week at Bucksmont, we share our offering with a different cause or organization in the community. For the month of October, we are sharing with Apartment Partners. Apartment Partners provide affordable housing and related services to people with low to moderate income and people in crisis. We sponsor an apartment with them in Doylestown. We currently have a mom and 3 children in the apartment we sponsor. Throughout the year, we supply a welcome basket for a family when they move into the apartment, holiday food baskets, Christmas gifts, and additional items as needed. Through your generous support, Bucksmont has been able to help many families get back on their feet and become productive members of society again. And today we are adding one extra piece to our time of offering. As the baskets are passed, please take an acorn. Sometimes our offering can be about receiving as well as giving, and Reverend Kevin will explain more about this particular gift later in the service. We ask that you participate in our morning offering in one of these ways. You can write out a check to Bucksmont and mail it into the fellowship. You may donate online now or at the end of our worship service. Or you may place your donation into one of the baskets as they are passed. And you may receive an acorn, too. We will now receive the morning offering.
So some of you might know this song, and I welcome you to sing along if you do. Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. All you need is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, someone bless these seeds I sow. Someone warm them from below till the rains come tumbling down. Pulling weeds, picking stones, we are made of dreams and bones. Need a place to call my own, for the time is close at hand. Grain for grain, sun and rain, find my way through nature's chain. Tune my body and my brain to the music of the land. Plant your seeds straight and long, temper them with prayer and song. Mother Earth will make you strong if you give her love and care. An old crow watching hungrily from his perch in yonder tree. In my garden I'm as free as that feather thief up there. Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. All you need is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, someone bless these seeds I sow. Someone warm them from below till the rains come tumbling down.
Our community continues to grow and thrive due to the generous donations of both time and money. For the many ways that you contribute and how it sustains this fellowship, we are truly grateful. This morning's reading is The Growing Season by Sarah Moores Campbell. I am not religious, says my neighbor, as he hoes the rows between his beans and corn. Oh, yes, you are, I say to myself. To plant a seed is an act of faith. To collect compost is a response of gratitude to the Creator. To water, fertilize, and mulch the ground is an expression of religious responsibility. To kneel down and pull weeds is a prayer. To harvest is to participate in the fullness and grace of the Spirit. To protect and replenish creation is to love God. I am not religious, says my neighbor. Yes, you are, I say.
In seminary, I came across a concept of religion I find helpful as a Unitarian Universalist, particularly as one who loves ritual and yet questions much about the divine. Perhaps you will find it useful too. In A History of Religion in 5.5 Objects, author Brent Plate asserts that religion is less about what people believe or do not believe, but rather about what we do religiously and how we do it. He writes, "People who practice religion do not necessarily know about the history or doctrinal elements of that religion, but they know how to do that religion. Religious people are not believers so much as technologists." As this morning's reading asserts, it is a religious act to plant, to tend, to grow food, even if we might not see it that way. Many seeds are not in and of themselves food, though some are. Through observing the natural world and sharing that knowledge with one another, we have come to understand that with time and effort, the little seed becomes so much more. Most years, I find a topic to explore through multiple sermons and Sunday services. This year, what we are reflecting on together is our toolkits for life. What are the essentials of survival, and what does it take to do more than survive? I asked in several spaces online what people think they'd need to survive, what they'd put in their toolkit, and what are the things we need to thrive together after we take care of the essentials of living. Here is the list that we are going to explore. We began last month with water. Today we explore seeds, and throughout the rest of the program year, we will reflect on company, stories, fire, compasses, medicine, notebooks, shelter, a good knife, and backpacks. Put together, these tools, these ingredients, these building blocks give us what we need to survive storms and to create futures in which not only we ourselves thrive, but the conditions exist for others to thrive as well. Today we are reflecting on seeds and food. In a survival situation, there is not time to cultivate nor time to plant for what will grow in weeks or months. We need to tap into food that is already ready to be consumed. Maybe that is food we have preserved in our pantries, or more likely food that others made possible that we can tap into. When I think about the aftermath of disaster, which has been too prevalent in recent weeks, there was the initial need to just survive the storm itself, to be as safe as possible until the storm passed. Then the need was clean water, and after water, the next need is food. The supplies needed for survival don't all come from the site of the disaster. They come from beyond that circle. The food that has been tended and grown, prepared and packaged, that arrives from beyond those who most directly feel the effects of the storm. After the emergency of finding food is met, whether we are in a disaster or not, we need to find ways to create stable and consistent sources of nourishment. In earlier eras, this was accomplished through foraging, hunting, gardening, and eventually farming. We've survived as a species by not specializing in a particular type of nutrition, nor a particular mode of getting our food. Our human ancestors and siblings around the world employ countless ways of meeting their food needs. We fish, We gather mushrooms, and we cultivate food crops. Planting seeds and growing food takes perhaps the most stability to be successful. We become tied to the land we cultivate, at least for the growing season. A herd of animals can move. We can change the location of our foraging or hunting. But it is a challenge to move a field of wheat once it is begun. So growing requires a little bit of faith, but also a commitment to stay through until the harvest. The lessons of agriculture extend beyond plants and to our larger culture as well. Our current political moment could feel to some like the onset of a disaster, or a storm we have been weathering for some amount of time. But what if what we need most beyond November is not rhetoric, but steadfastness? No matter the outcome, I understand the want for or desire for a particular outcome. And something I hear in somewhat joking, but not always joking tones, is the desire to move to Europe or Canada or some other place should things not go the way we'd like. I heard this in past election cycles too. I may have even uttered similar sentiments. And there are those for whom relocating is an act of survival. That is what brings new people to our shores, and that is what is unfolding within our borders already due to unjust laws around bodily autonomy, both for those who can become pregnant and those whose genders are known to themselves better than the state. Sometimes migration is needed, and sometimes planting is needed. For those who cannot or refuse to migrate, this season in democracy is both a time of harvest and of planting. We will see the results of months of democratic work sometime after Election Day. This final stretch is about getting out the vote to increase the yield on that day. And it is also about planting for the seasons that come after November 5th as well. Because seeds are about the future more than the present moment. Seeds hold within them possibilities that can stretch into the future long past our lifetimes. Ralph Waldo Emerson once wrote, "The creation of 1,000 forests is in one acorn." Speaking of acorns, you may be wondering why you've been holding one for a little while now. The acorns you received during the offering are not just any acorns. They come from trees behind Bucksmont's building, trees tended by our members, trees that have given shade to our outdoor gatherings, trees that have borne witness to when we place our beloveds back into the earth, and trees that anchor the wildlife that surrounds our human community that gathers here. So we have nurtured the trees that have given us these acorns, and they in turn have nurtured us. As you hold a Bucksmont acorn, and if you do not have one, please raise your hand, and Rosemarie will bring you one so that you can take part. Got a couple folks over here. Yeah, great. So we got a basket here, and ushers too, but yeah, great. So raise your hands high. Rosemarie will bring them as I explain more. As you hold or will hold a Bucksmont acorn, think about something you want to plant for the future. What hope do you have that will grow beyond this season of your life and our collective lives? Beyond this season of anticipation and anxiety, what do you wish there were more of in this world that is worth the steadfastness to stay, to see it grow? As you hold this seed from our congregation's oak trees, I invite you to reflect on these words from geochemist and geobiologist Hope Jaron, who writes this in her book, Lab Girl. A seed knows how to wait. Most seeds wait for several years before starting to grow. A cherry seed can wait for 100 years with no problem. What exactly each seed is waiting for is known only to that seed. Some unique trigger combination of temperature, moisture, light, and many other things is required to convince a seed to jump off the deep end and take its chance, to take its one and only chance to grow. A seed is alive while it waits. Every acorn on the ground is just as alive as the 300-year-old oak tree that towers over it. Neither the seed nor the oak is growing. They are both just waiting. Their waiting differs, however, in that the seed is waiting to flourish, while the tree is only waiting to die. When you go into a forest, you probably tend to look up at the plants that have grown so much taller than you ever could. You probably don't look down, where just beneath your single footprint sits between 100 and 1,000 seeds, each one alive and waiting. When you are in the forest, for every tree that you can see, there are no less than 3 million more trees waiting in the soil, fervently wishing to be. When the embryo within a seed starts to grow, it basically just stretches out from its doubled over waiting posture, elongating into official ownership of the form that it assumed years ago. The hard coat that surrounds a peach pit, a sesame or mustard seed, or a walnut shell mostly exists to prevent this expansion. In the laboratory, we simply scratch the hard coat and add a little water, and it's enough to make almost any seed grow. I must have cracked thousands of seeds over the years, and yet the next day's green never fails to amaze me. Something so hard can be so easy if you have just a little help. In the right place, under the right conditions, you can finally stretch out into what you're supposed to be. Each beginning is the end of a waiting. We are each given exactly one chance to be. Each of us is both impossible and inevitable. Every replete tree was first a seed that waited. Hold this acorn, now with your hopes a part of it, through the rest of our service. And then during the postlude or coffee hour, I invite you to exchange acorns with someone else in the congregation. This is an act of trust. After the service today, find somewhere to place that other person's acorn into the earth. You don't know if their acorn or yours will take root. You don't know for sure that they will follow through. But you can know whether you do. This is the trust of our social contracts and our personal relationships. This is the tenuous trust of our democratic institutions. We trust, not naively and not without being let down in the past, that others will act in ways that cultivate better futures for themselves, but also for others. To return to our reading from Campbell, to plant a seed is an act of faith. To kneel down and pull weeds, a prayer. To harvest is to participate in the fullness and grace of the Spirit. I am not religious, says my neighbor. Yes, you are, I say. So may it be.
Body Your Spirit and join singing our next hymn, I Sought the Woods in Summer, Gray Hymnal number 328, or Words on the Screen.
Let us now enter into a time of awareness within ourselves and connection beyond boundaries, connection to one another, to that interdependent web of life of which we are each but one small thread. As we breathe in, we are connected. As we breathe out, we are connected. I share with gratitude a prayer for desert times by Margaret A. Keep. The journeys of our lives are never fully charted. There come to each of us deserts to cross, barren stretches where the green edge on the horizon may be our destination, or an oasis on our way, or a mirage that beckons only to leave us lost. When fear grips the heart, or despair bows the head, may we bend as heart and head lead us down to touch the ground beneath our feet. May we scoop some sand into our hands and receive what the sand would teach us. It holds the warmth of the sun when the sun has left from our sight, as it holds the cool of the night when the stars have faded. Hidden among its grains are tiny seeds at rest and waiting, dormant yet undefeated. Desert flowers, they endure, moistened by our tears and by the rains, which come to end even the longest drought. They send down roots and they bloom. May we believe in those seeds and in the seeds within us. May we remember in our dry seasons that we too are desert flowers. Amen. As we breathe in, we are connected. As we breathe out, we are connected. May our minds create a vision of the world, radical enough to be called holy. May our actions contain the promise of hope and the commitment to justice. May our hearts remember that love is a power that resists all forms of fear. By our thoughts, by our actions, by our hearts, and by our very breath, may it be so. As part of our caring outreach to one another, we set aside a few moments to note both the sorrows and the joys in our lives. In these moments of peace and reflection, we turn our attention to one another. We hold each and all in our compassionate thoughts and the prayers of our hearts. This morning, we are lighting candles to mark the important moments in our lives. Each moment and each candle adds to the collective light of this community, a place that also holds the memories of those who have gone before and anticipates those who have yet to arrive. To share the joy or sorrow you would like held by our caring community, text the number that is now on screen. Please include your name along with your sharing. It is the same number no matter how you join us today, and you can add it to your contacts for future weeks. I will read them aloud, and Laura will light a candle on your behalf. What is shared today will go out in our weekly caring notes for those who cannot be with us this morning. Please remember to include your first and last name with what you share. And we will light one final candle for all of the joys and sorrows which remain unspoken, but on our hearts. With words spoken and candles lit, we honor our joys and our sorrows, those shared this morning, and the many, many more that exist beyond words. Through our time together, our relationships are deepened and our community made whole. Hymn, as Dina leads us in our closing hymn, Spirit of Life, in a moment, we are also going to practice our worship disruption response plan. Some of you have done this with us in the past. This is something that we would do if we ever had protesters try to disrupt our worship, something that has never happened, but something that has happened in UU congregations elsewhere, and we'd like to be ready if it should ever happen here. If we had protesters here that refused to stop being disruptive, the worship leader would pause the service and we would begin singing Spirit of Life. While we sing, we would form a U shape down this aisle, across here, and down that side of the room, with the opening toward our doors, which we would have opened up. And those doors lead to the parking lot. We'd sing until they left or the police arrived to escort them out. Today we will sing and practice forming this U without the disruption. Let us begin.
the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, ride in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Sorry, I thought you meant two more.
Thank you, everyone, for helping us practice what we hope to never need, and yet we get to move during our service and sing a beautiful song. Hopefully, that is the practice we get, and that's all we ever get to do. And holding hands was fun, too, for some. Great, good. All right. Now we will continue with the closing parts of our service.
Our chalice extinguishing words this morning are from Norman V. Naylor. Our eyes and minds turn now toward the ordinary. Leaving the space made sacred by our presence, take with you at least some seed of understanding, hope, and courage, and drop it into the confusion of the world, nourishing the seed that it might grow as a tree of life, giving shelter to the weary and hope to the despairing. Be yourself a branch of the tree of life. Amen.
As our community departs from this service, may we honor all who came before. May we imagine all who will come after. May we honor all who are present with us here and now. In our time together, we create this community, one of promise, one of commitment, one of planting for the future. In our time together, may each of us become a sanctuary for all we meet on the journey. May we go together now and return again.
You got the sun, and if you got the rain, and you plant a little seed, in the old back lane, and you wish and you pray and you keep the weeds down. You might find, oh, you might find a root growing out from the seed in the ground. If you got the sun and if you got the rain, and you plant a little seed in the old back lane, and you wish and you pray and you keep the weeds down, you might find, oh, you might find a shoot growing out from the root, from the seed in the ground. If you got the sun and if you got the rain, and you plant a little seed in the old back lane, and you wish and you pray and you keep the weeds down, you might find, oh, you might find a stem growing out from the shoot, from the root, from the seed in the ground. If you got the sun and if you got the rain, and you plant a little seed in the old back lane, and you wish and you pray and you keep the weeds down, you might find, oh, you might find a flower growing out from the stem, from the shoot, from the root, from the seed in the ground. If you got the sun and if you got the rain, and you plant a little seed in the old back lane, and you wish and you pray and you keep the weeds down, you might find, oh, you might find a seed growing out from a flower, from the stem, from the shoot, from the root, from the seed in